UFC 327 is just around the corner. Actually, it's happening in a couple of days actually. It's this Saturday, April, what day is it? April 11th. This Saturday in Miami, Jiri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg. I'm not gonna lie, even though the co-main fell out, Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira, that fight got rebooked for 328. This card is actually it's not that it has a lot of name value, like it's not that stacked with the name values, but I can guarantee you this, the card will be a banger card. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be a lot of finishes, a lot of KOs, some banging fights, and then we top it off with a Jiri versus Ulberg like bloodbath. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I'm gonna say my predictions. I'm a pretty good predictor, as y'all pretty much know. I pretty much go I have like a 98% prediction rate. If I'm being real, it's pretty high. It's definitely high up there. The best predictor on YouTube for real. But yeah, let's get into it. First of all, this card, bro, this poster kind of looking nice. Like, damn, two good looking men. Three actually with me right here. I am in the poster as well. What am I doing? Let's get on with the card. Actually, a really good card. Main event banger. A bunch of bangers, bro. Bunch of bangers. But let's start at the beginning. Charles Radke versus Francisco Prado. First fight of the night. Actually, a pretty good fight, bro. It should be a good fight. Can I open this? Boom. Francisco Prado, he's like really young. I think he's like 23 or something like that. Charles Radke, he did just get knocked out against Mike Malott. But I will be going with Charles Radke to win this fight. I know he just got knocked out. And Francisco Prado, he's a pretty dangerous guy, right? He's really like buff. He's really buff. He has a lot of power. You know what I mean? But I feel like with Charles Radke, since he's fighting, he has more experience. He's older. You know what I mean? And he's not bad. Let's be real. He's not bad. Even in the Mike Malott fight, which he lost, he was like, it was pretty competitive. You know what I mean? Until he got caught and he got put down. His only two losses in the UFC have been to Carlos Prates and Mike Malott. So, those are exceptional losses. I would like, there's nothing wrong with losing to those guys. You know what I mean? Actually, maybe Mike Malott a little bit, but I will be going with Charles Radke. I feel like on the feet, it should be competitive. I feel like he's not going to get caught. He can mix it up as well. He's coming off a submission win, rear naked choke, I'm pretty sure. Off of the record, they both have pretty terrible records, but should be a good fight. I did not know Francisco Prado was 5'10". He looks very short. I don't know, maybe it's because he's fighting like taller fighters, but I don't know why in the cage he looks pretty short. He's 5'10". Kind of crazy to me. I feel like he's not 5'10". I feel like that has to be a lie. But I'll be going with Charles Radke by decision. Should be a pretty banging fight. Maybe Francisco Prado drops him, but I feel he's going to win a 29-28 decision. I feel like on the feet, it's going to be, close. And then and I think he can mix it up as well. Moving on. Kelvin why can't I make this one bigger, bro? I'm clicking. I'm literally, all right, whatever. Kelvin Gastelum versus Vicente Luque. This is at middleweight. Honestly, when I first saw this fight, I was like, is it at welterweight? Is it at middleweight? Because both these guys have kind of been at both. You know what I mean? But this will be happening at middleweight. Vicente Luque coming off a a couple losses. You know what I mean? But he's losing to good guys. You know what I mean? Joel Alvarez. Who else did he lose to? Kevin Holland. And Kevin Gastelum. Speaking of Kevin Holland, we'll talk about him later. Kelvin Gastelum, he did just lose to Joe Pyfer, but hey, nothing wrong with losing to Joe Pyfer. He'd just be Izzy, you know what I mean? Who am I going to go with this fight? I'm feeling Kelvin Gastelum, bro. I feel like, especially with the weight advantage, and Kevin, he's not like a big guy. He's a pretty fat guy from my fault. He's a pretty tubby guy. It's nicer, more respectful. My fault. But I feel like on the feet, I feel like Kelvin Gastelum is a little more quicker. He's a lot more durable. This fight's definitely not going to the ground, in my opinion, unless Vicente takes it to the ground. But I just feel like it's going to be a 15-minute of, well, if it gets to 15 minutes, I feel like it's definitely going to be a striking fight. I don't really see Vicente taking it to the ground. But if he does, the submission's there. Honestly, Kelvin Gastelum's submission defense is pretty terrible. So if Vicente actually does that, he can pretty much, I feel like he would win. But I don't know why. I just have a feeling it's going to be a striking fight. I feel like Kelvin Gastelum's, he's faster. You know, they both have similar power, and I think it's a lot more durable. And so, yeah, I'm going to go Kelvin Gastelum by, I'm going to say decision. I feel like Vicente Luque, he's a survivor. You know what I mean? He hasn't been knocked out since was it Joaquin Buckley? But let's be honest, that wasn't like a real knockout. That was a it was a TKO. It was a little TKO. You know what I mean? But I feel this will be going to decision. It's going to be a banging fight. This could go in a knockout, but I will be going by decision. Moving on. Chris Padilla versus Marco Medeiros. Marco Medeiros coming off a very impressive win over, I actually don't remember his name, but he is undefeated. Chris Padilla, you know, he just came off beating Ismail Bonfim, if I recall, right? Very tricky fight for Marco Medeiros. Chris Padilla is very, how do I say this? He's a little goofy, but he makes it work. You know, he has an interesting style. He makes it work, though. But I will be going to Marco Medeiros, though. I'm feeling a little upset victory. He is the underdog, I'm pretty sure. I feel like Medeiros, he has very, very good leg kicks. And I'm sorry, fighters that have very good leg kicks, I tend to kind of favor them over, most fight. I'm being real. That's one of the most dangerous weapons in the UFC right now. Let's be real. He literally won his last fight over the leg kick. That guy could not, he was bullying him with the leg kicks. I feel like a guy like Chris Padilla, he's kind of like a pest. Like, you really can't get him off you. And he's he's always going forward. I feel like the leg kicks can definitely be in Medeiros' favor quite heavily. I feel like Padilla, he's definitely going to get compromised a bit, and then he'll be a little slower, a little less powerful, a little, you know what I mean? And I feel like Medeiros is going to what's the word? Compromise on it. And I feel like he's going to win a decision. I'm feeling a decision with this one. I know I picked back-to-back decisions, but hey, that's just what I'm feeling. I feel like, obviously the leg kick heavy decision. And I feel like Medeiros' last fight, even though he literally had the guy literally like barely able to walk, he didn't really unleash his hands as much as I thought he should have been. So I don't really see him getting a finish. I see it going a decision. He is undefeated, so I think he's going to stay undefeated. It's a dangerous fight for him, though. He is an underdog for a reason. Chris Padilla is very good. His boxing is very good. I just feel the leg kicks are he's just gonna be compromised. Moving on to the prelims. Tatiana Suarez versus Lupi Godinez. I just love this fight. I love the fight, bro. I absolutely love the fight. Such a banging fight. Such a banging. I'm playing. But no, I'm going with Tatiana Suarez in this fight. Do I really need to explain my reasoning? My fault. My throat's a little dry. But I feel like she's going to win a grappling heavy decision. I feel like even on the feet, it should be quite competitive. Lupi Godinez, she's good. She's quite buff for the division, but I just feel like she loses to girls. She loses to people like Tatiana. Let's be real. She lost to Mackenzie Dern. She lost to Verna Jandiroba. Those losses aged quite well. But I just feel like she's not anything like super special. She's quite well rounded, but I feel like that's kind of it. And I feel like Tatiana, she can mix it up. And even on the feet, I feel like she do pretty good. She was just pretty underrated striking. And yeah, it's only a 3-round fight. So yeah, I'm going Tatiana by, I'm going to say a closer decision than people think. Because she is, I think, like a, 200 favor or something like that. Closer decision than people think, but I feel like she will still win by control heavy decision. Moving on, I feel like I've gone all decisions lately. I need Mateus Gamrot. Are you gonna knock him out? Please knock him out. Nah, I'm playing. Mateus Gamrot versus Esteban Ribovic. First of all, Mateus Gamrot, from fighting Charles Oliveira to fighting Esteban Ribovic, like, what are we doing, USC? Like, he loses to Oliveira, who just beat Holloway, and then he's fighting an unranked guy. Like, what's going on with that? I just feel like I had to say that. But Esteban Ribovic, we all know he's very dangerous. You know, he had a pretty good stint in the UFC so far, but brother, you can't just walk into a fight with the gamer and just expect to walk out with a W. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to go with the gamer, Mateusz Gamrot. Let me say his name correctly. I just feel like he's very tricky. Esteban Ribovic, he hasn't really fought any good grapplers in his UFC run so far, and you can't just go into a top 3 grappler in the division just like that. You know what I mean? He's gonna struggle with the grappling, I think, a lot. And then on the feet, obviously Gamrot, he's been caught quite a bit. You know, he's been dropped in almost every fight. I I feel he is going to be dropped in this fight, especially with the head kicks that Esteban Ribovic has. But let's be honest, I feel he has an underrated chin though. Am I bugging? I feel like what Benil Dariush hit him with a haymaker. All right, it literally made like a shotgun sound, bro. He literally got right back up. I'm sorry, he got dropped a couple of times against Jalen Turner, got right back up. He goes straight into a takedown. Like he's not like he gets dropped, but he's not like he doesn't get like knocked out cold. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna have to go Mateus Grammar. I feel like he survives the early storm from Esteban. I feel like with the grappling mixing it up along with he's pretty good striking as well. He's definitely going to win I'm gonna say a dominant decision. I'm gonna say dominant. I just feel like Esteban's not ready for it yet. Moving on though, Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. Honestly, a really interesting matchup because both these guys are pretty similar in height. Like let me see, 6'3" versus 6'3" wingspan. All right, pretty much. I mean, 3 inches. That's pretty much a lot. Wow, that's crazy. Kevin Holland has a longer arm. Has longer arms, but way shorter legs. All right, that's quite interesting. You know what I mean? But nah, this both these guys are same height. They have similar records. They're both kind of like journeymen in the UFC. But I'm gonna have to go with the rude boy, Randy Brown. I'm sorry. I feel like this ground. I mean, this fight is definitely not going to the ground. It's gonna be 50 minutes of a striking fight, and I feel like I'm sorry, bro. I just feel like Randy Brown. Why am I saying I'm sorry? I'm just giving my opinion. I feel like Randy Brown, he's definitely a lot more crisp on the feet than Kevin Holland. He has a lot more straight shots, which I feel like straight shots, they beat looping shots. Like Kevin Holland, he is good on the feet as well. They both have, similar power. Kevin Holland actually has a lot better chin than Randy Brown. Randy Brown did just get knocked out, which that's quite interesting. But I feel like Kevin Holland, he's too goofy. He's way too goofy. Randy Brown, I feel like he's very crisp. His last fight, he did struggle a lot with the leg kicks, but let's not act like Kevin Holland's let's be honest, he doesn't throw a lot of leg kicks. Let's be real. And I feel like even in the pocket, where both these guys are long and rangy, but even in the pocket, I feel like Randy Brown, he could bang. He could stand and bang if he wants to as well. Like he's had fights where he's stand and banged and he knocks him out. Like let's not act like he hasn't had those instances before. So yeah, I'm gonna go Randy Brown. I feel like it's definitely not going to be a finish because Kevin Holland, let's be honest, I just don't really see him getting knocked out, especially by a guy like Randy Brown. Even though Randy Brown, he's powerful, but I do see this going to a very close decision. Actually, I feel like Kevin Holland, even though I pretty much just glazed Randy Brown for 2 minutes, Kevin Holland's not bad, bro. Let's not. He's pretty good. He's on a pretty bad run right now in the UFC so far. His last 2 years have been pretty subpar, if you ask me. But he's losing to good guys. Except D-Rod. I feel like that was a disgrace. Not a disgrace, but come on, Kevin. You win against D-Rod. You should win against D-Rod. But nah, I feel like Kevin, he's a tricky guy. He has a lot of tricks up his sleeve, you know what I mean? So yeah. But evidently, I'm gonna go evidently, bro. Why am I talking like Shakespeare right now? In conclusion, Randy Brown, he's gonna win. Close decision, banging fight. This one might be the fight of the night. Except it's probably going to Jiri versus Ulberg just for no reason. Moving on. Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico. This fight should 100% be on the main card. What is the UFC doing? This fight is a main card fight. This is two bangers. Two banking fighters from Bellator. I don't know if the UFC just doesn't like Bellator fighters or what is it with it. What's up with that? What up UFC? What's up with that? Like you know what I mean? But, hey, the headline of the prelims, Aaron Pico versus Patricio Pitbull. I'm sorry, bro. I'm going with Pitbull. I see a lot of people, glaze this guy, Aaron Pico, which honestly, in those first a minute when he fought Lerone, he looked amazing. He was landing big shots. He had him wobbling a bit. He looks really good, but then he got knocked out. Let's not act like just because you're good in the first minute means you're good. You're just unbeatable fighter. But look at his record. He's 13-5. That's just not good. I'm sorry. That's not a good record especially from a hyped up prospect. I feel like you kind of need a better record than 13-5. I've seen his fights. No, I haven't seen him, but I've looked at his record. He's losing a lot. He's getting knocked out early a lot, bro. It's not just the Lerone Murphy fight. I don't think he will get knocked out early in this fight, especially against Pitbull. I feel like Pitbull, he's smart, bro. Look at him. He has 45 fights, bro. He has 45 fights. He's definitely going to take it slow in the first round, right? Take it slow, defense first. Patient, he is a very patient guy. Let's not, he is very patient. But I feel like as the rounds go on, Aaron Pico, I feel like he's definitely going to gas out a bit. And I feel like, bro, he's coming off a knockout loss. I feel like he came back way too soon, in my opinion. Like, he fought on the Hamzat card. Hamzat hasn't even came back yet. But he's fighting before Hamzat did. Like, what's going on? I know Hamzat took a long break, but I feel like Aaron Pico, he's powerful, but he's not durable in the slightest. And Patricio Pitbull, he's powerful as well. People forget he had Dan Ige kind of had him stumbling and bumbling. Bro, he had Dan Ige stumbling and bumbling like across the ring. And he's a pretty durable guy as well. I feel like he's definitely going to win by, I'm gonna say, third round TKO. I'm feeling it. Veteran versus prospect, 29 years old versus 38 years old, 9-year age difference. But I feel like Patricio still gets it done. Honestly, underrated fighter in my opinion. I actually really like watching him fight. He's patient, but he's skillful. He's skillful. You know what I mean? But he is only 5'6" though, and he looks like 5'4". I'm not even lying. Because how are you getting like height mogged by Danny Ige? You know what I mean? But nah, I'm gonna go Patricio Pitbull by third round TKO. Aaron Pico gasses a bit. Patricio Pitbull gets it done. Moving on. Cub Swanson versus Nate the Train Landwehr. Cub Swanson is 32 years of age. Now, I don't know, you're asking why did I bring that up? Because I'm pretty sure, if I recall, right, 2024 December, did he not retire? Like, did he not retire like against Billy Quarantillo? He got a sick knockout, third round banging fight. It was like a perfect send off. But then here I am, boom, Nate Landwehr is fighting Cub Swanson at UFC 327. Bro, I swear this guy did not retire, or maybe he pulled like a Tony Ferguson fake, like he put one glove down or something like that. But I feel like it would have been best if Cub Swanson did retire that day. I feel like when you're out the game, when you're not very consistent, especially when you're old, like 42 years old, and you're kind of like, you have one step in, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, I feel like it's not very smart. And I feel like a guy like Nate the Train, let's not act like he's not a danger. Like, bro, he's very dangerous. He's gritty. He's tough. He's powerful. I feel like Cub Swanson, he will welcome it. We've seen he's had banging fights with his last fight against Billy Quarantillo, Andre Feely. Like, he's not afraid of a fight. But I feel like he's 42 years old. I kind of have to favor the younging. He's not really young. I'm pretty sure he's like 35, but 35 versus 42, like that's still, he still has years of youth on him. You know what I mean? Even though Nate the Train, he's on quite of a stinking run. He's on a couple loss streak, but I feel he's gonna get in there first round. I feel he's gonna knock him out, bro. I feel he's gonna bring it to him. I feel like Cub Swanson's going to be a little slower than we've seen. He's gonna welcome it, and I feel he's gonna get put out. I'm sorry, Cub Swanson, but like, bro, you had a perfect send off. Like, I genuinely, if the UFC if they gave him like a footage of his whole career, he probably would have retired there and then. But nah, I'm gonna have to go with Nate Landwehr, Nate the Train. Come on now. Moving on. With his last 3 fights, last 4 fights. Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker. Battle of the chins. Who has the better chin? Apparently, I don't know. Don't quote check me, but I'm hearing rumors that I think he said it himself actually. So it's not really rumors, but I'm hearing rumors that he ate a uppercut from Francis Ngannou, Johnny Walker, that is. I mean, listen, if you're eating uppercuts from Francis Ngannou, like, what's Dominic Reyes? Nah, I'm playing. I'm going Dominic Reyes by knockout first round. The only reason I'm going with this a Reyes knockout is because I feel like Johnny Walker, he's a lot more hittable. Let's be real. Dominic Reyes, he might honestly have a worse chin than Walker, if I'm being real. But genuinely, I feel like he's a lot more defensively sound. Johnny Walker, he's very tall, he's very lanky, but his defense is not great. He takes a lot of risks, and I feel like a guy like Dominic Reyes, who has very good 1-2s and straight shots down the middle, I feel he's gonna pay for that. He's gonna get hit with a right hand down the middle or a 1-2 or something like that. I think he's gonna get put out. And yeah, that's all, bro. I'm being real. There's definitely gonna be no grappling. It's 100% a knockout, probably in the first round, if we're being real. I just feel Dominic Reyes is more accurate and he's more. I just feel like he's just, bro. He's just gonna beat him. Let's be real. Knockout first round, Dominic Reyes. Sorry, Johnny Walker. But if he actually has a good chin now because he ate an uppercut from Francis Ngannou, then maybe he'll win. Maybe. I don't know. Moving on. Feature fight of the night. Curtis Blaydes versus Josh Hockett. First of all, before I even get into the fight, did you guys see the news of Josh Hockett today? This guy was beefing with Jiri for no reason. He said he was gonna slice Jiri with his lightsaber. What is that about? Because if you're messing with Jiri, you're messing with me. Let's be real. And then he was also kind of beefing with Carlos Ulberg a bit as well. Like he's trying to, I respect it. He's trying to start stuff. Get his name out there. I like it. But let's talk about him versus Curtis Blaydes real quick. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing a Curtis Blaydes second round ground and pound TKO. I'm seeing it, bro. Something about Josh Hockett. I feel like his grappling is severely what's the word? What's the opposite of underrated? Overrated. Severely overrated. I'm sorry. Apparently he has this wrestling credentials coming into the UFC. I'm sorry. I've seen his fights. It looks like I'm not a wrestler, but like it doesn't look very high technique. I'm being real. Maybe it's just because it's heavyweight, but it genuinely looks like he's just bullying his opponent down to the ground. That's what it looks like. And then his striking is pretty good, but Curtis Blaydes, he also has pretty good striking. I feel like the first round, it's going to be a majority a striking fight. I don't really see a lot of grappling in the first round. Actually, no. Maybe I do think there's going to be some grappling, but I think it's going to be, my fault. Let me really pronounce this word. Negated by Josh Hockett. Yeah, why did I do that? But I think the second round, I can see Curtis Blaydes getting a takedown. And bro, I feel like Josh Hockett, he takes too much risks in the fight, especially at heavyweight. Especially and bro, he's only 234 pounds. He's a very light for heavyweight. Honestly, he could probably fight a light heavyweight. But I feel like on his back, I feel he's gonna take too many risks. I'm sorry. The elbows are there, bro. The elbows are there. And I feel like Curtis Blaydes, we literally call him Razor Blades because he has razors for elbows. I feel he's gonna get a second round knockout. The UFC definitely pushed Josh Hockett a little too much, in my opinion. But I mean, he's still good, bro. Let's be real. He's still good. He'll get back up there after this fight, But Curtis Blaydes is getting it home. He's bringing it home. But moving on, though. Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. First of all, the fact that Azamat has more Brazilian fans in this fight rooting for him than Paulo Costa is kind of crazy. What did Paulo Costa actually... I don't know. I don't really know the backstory behind that, but let me just focus on the fight. Azamat Murzakanov, undefeated Russian in the light heavyweight division on an absolute tear versus Paulo Costa, who is coming off a very impressive win against, Roman Kopylov. Very impressive win. But I'm sorry, bro. You're coming off a win against Roman Kopylov at middleweight. And now you have this undefeated light heavyweight monster. Let me chill. Professional, switch the word up. Professional Azamat Murzakanov, who's on like a 3-fight knockout streak. Like, bro, I'm sorry, finish streak. I'm sorry, Paulo Costa, but he's a big guy, but it's different, bro. Like, look, bro, Azamat's physique mogging him right now. Let's be real. Like, look at his physique. It's way better than this. Like, what even is this? You know what I mean? But nah, I just feel like Paulo Costa, he's definitely struggled in the past against guys with a lot of power, and especially got a lot of let me just remind you something. Power, and what is that? Power and what's it called? Counter. Who that reminds you of? It reminds you of Izzy. I'm sorry, Azamat Murzakanov, he's very good at that as well. He has a lot of power. He's very smart on the feet. I'm not saying he's Izzy, but I'm saying that Paulo Costa did struggle a lot with Izzy. He even struggled a lot with Marvin Vettori on the feet. If you're struggling with Marvin Vettori on the feet, I'm sorry, Azamat Murzakanov is going to eat you up. He's going to eat you up. You know what I mean? I feel like Azamat, I feel like the first round is going to be quite close. You know what I mean? Azamat, he does like to be a little patient in the first round for the most part, unless he just knocks you out with a jab like he did his last fight. But the second round, he's gonna put it on Costa, and let's be real, Costa, his chin is just, it hasn't been tested in a while. I feel like it's definitely gonna get tested in this fight. And Azamat, he's taking it home for the Brazilians. He's taking it home for the Brazilians. He's definitely gonna win, and he actually has like a chip on his shoulder because for some reason Paulo Costa just pissed him off because he's been tweeting crazy at him. I don't know. Have you all seen it? He's like, "Yo, you're gonna die" or something. I don't know. He said something like that, but with that being said, I do think it's going to be a second round knockout for Azamat Murzakanov. Paulo Costa, I just feel like with the weight advantage for Azamat and, you know, the striking advantage, I feel like, yeah, let's be real. Like why is Paulo Costa even fighting Azamat Murzakanov? Let's be real. Why is he even fighting him? Because the winner of this fight, let's be honest, the title is kind of open for anyone to take it. You know what I mean? There's no like heavyweight prospect except Azamat who's on a winning streak. Let's be real. There's like none. But yeah, I'm gonna go Azamat second round KO. Moving on. Guys, I already did give my prediction. I did a whole video just for this fight, but I'm gonna quickly recap it. I think Jiri Prochazka is taking it home. I think he's gonna get a fourth round knockout against Carlos Ulberg. I feel like it's gonna be quite similar to the Jiri Roundtree fight, except I actually do think Carlos Ulberg will pose more of a threat to Jiri than Khalil Roundtree. Not in a sense where Yuri's gonna get knocked out like that, but I do think he will breeze through the first couple of rounds, you know, with the leg kicks and the jabs. He is a very smart fighter, and he fights kind of similar to Izzy where he's, you know, he's patient, you know what I mean? He likes to take his time. He doesn't mind the decision, you know what I mean? But let's be honest, Jiri Prochazka, he starts kind of slow, but I feel like as soon as he lands like a big strike on Ulberg, I feel like, I don't know, I just don't see Ulberg reacting well. And when Jiri smells blood in the water, you're out of there. Let's be real. I feel he's gonna get him out of in the fourth round. You know, Carlos Ulberg, he is very, as I said, he is very defensive, but like, I'm sorry, you can't predict a spinning elbow, a jumping knee into a Superman punch. Like, what are you gonna do against that? What are you gonna do against that? Let's be real. What are you gonna do? Nothing. You can't do nothing. And guess what? Yuri's taking it home. We're getting the belt. Me and Jiri, we're getting the belt. We're taking it home. Oh my god, it's gonna be such a good day when Jiri wins. I am kind of worried that Carlos Ulberg, you know, he sits like a 1-2 down the middle and kind of slumps Jiri. I don't know why. I'm not that I could see it, but he has really good 1-2s. He has a crisp left hook, kind of similar to Alex Pereira. Not really, but if anyone is going to be Jiri, it could be Ulberg, but I just feel like Jiri, the samurai spirit, I'm sorry, he's taking it home in the later rounds. Definitely going to lose the first couple of rounds, though. But yeah, I feel he's taking it home. Carlos Ulberg, he's been knocked out before, and it's going to happen again. With that being said, that is the end of the card. Banging card. I feel there's going to be a whole lot of finishes. Or if it's not a finish, it's going to be a banging fight, in my opinion. But yeah. Comment down below if you agree with my picks. If you don't agree, if you like the video, like it. If you don't, actually, I don't know. Just still like it. I don't know, I guess. But nah, with that being said, I am out of here. How do I stop recording?